What's going on, traders? Wouldn't you know it that the regional banks are back up? Now, the only question is, will this last today, right? And do we have potentially window space to get to 400 on the SPY today? That'd be pretty impressive in a bank crisis stage, right? Because that's the current environment we're in. But yet we're seeing tech stocks really strong. I've been talking about this on my Twitter. Microsoft, Google, Apple, looking like they want to break out. Yes, at least technically, that's what I see. Let's find out if we do get some breakouts in tech today. Let's get right into the action. It's live trading right here with Benzinga.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. Oh, it's Vegas lore, that phrase.
All right. Good morning, team. Good morning. Definitely getting to the action. Let's bring on the boys. The boys. You know who it is. What's up, guys? Let's get to it here. I got Zunaid in the house. Ryan will be with us in just a few seconds. Let's keep going. Hawaii out there. How the waves? How the waves this morning? Definitely got to get out there to Hawaii soon enough, man. I actually was planning to do Hawaii for my honeymoon, but for a while there with the COVID situation, I said, you know what, I'd rather go on a cruise, but I'm going to be looking towards going to Hawaii soon enough. I'm thinking next year it'll be Hawaii. Got to get some surfs up, right? I need to catch like a nice reggae concert out there. A little stick figure in Hawaii. Oh, man, that would be legit. Yes, stick figure, man, is legit. Number one artist for me in reggae. But hey, you guys can check him out for yourself. All right, let's get to the action. Let's take a look at some different stocks. I'm going to go really quickly. And guess what, team? You guys have been talking about, you've been hearing me talk about swing trades like daily because I've had that swing trade rate show. Well, guess what? No positions on right now. That should tell you something a little bit. And there's very few times that I get to this spot. But right now is that time where the uncertainty is high. And I need to go ahead and wait to see what happens versus reacting too quickly on swing trades. Because let's just be honest, one more bank goes, so could the SPY. But if we get out of this situation, will we start seeing a rip? That's what I'm pointing at. That's why you guys see my SPY outlook. I've been talking about this. Will we get the throwback look? And it is looking like we are getting the throwback look. Another outlook that I've talked about, and I talked about this like 2 or 3 weeks ago, was with the golden cross. A lot of the times we get a big decline after the golden cross, and then the real trend takeoff happens. I've talked about this plenty of times. So that's another thing that I'm looking at with these stocks. And just to kind of mention there, here's that stage 3 uptrend. So you guys see here, when you get the golden cross, I'm looking to see if we go into stage 3 into the uptrend. And that could actually happen, I think, if we could shore up the banking situation. Now, another thing that I'm looking at here in this situation is not necessarily only looking at the SPY, but looking at these tech names. Look at Microsoft. What do you see here, team? Golden cross showing up. Google, 50 is moving fast for that 200. We'll see if we eventually get up there, but Google looking strong. Apple could have a golden cross happen even today. So just pay attention to that. I just feel like overall in tech, we are pretty bullish. NVIDIA continuing to climb up. AMD continuing to climb up. We'll see what happens to these. They've been just kind of more in breakout city, even though we're having a crisis right now, right? So that's why I think we need to really kind of keep watch. The Qs and the SPY, I think, are telling us something completely else than the IWM, but we'll wait and find out. I'll kick it to you guys now to see what your outlook is, but that's just the way I feel right now. And I feel like overall, if we shake this banking situation, a lot of people, I feel like we're going to be feeling like they miss the boat in tech. And then the FOMO is really going to be coming. So I'm actually feeling a little bit more on the bullish side. All right, I'll kick it to you guys. If you guys want to take a look at the SPY or overall market, who wants to take first? I think I see Zunaid up. So I'm going to go to Zunaid first here.
All right. Well, All right, cool. Taking a look at the SPY, it's kind of easy, right? You got the pre-market area right here around 397.18, getting a hit once, twice, 3 times at the moment. We'll see if we can break out of this one. Looks like that candle did just slightly pop above, but we'll see how the action sustains. So if you're looking for a breakout play, let's see how the remainder of the next 15-minute goes, and then we can see what our levels are like, and then try to see where we want to play. I don't expect a lot of range today simply because of the Fed tomorrow, but we'll see if I'm proven wrong. Looking at the Qs, similar story, nothing too crazy here that I like. You can find support at 306. That's the only way that I would try to play a bounce on the Qs, would be 306 level. Let's go ahead and take a look at Apple. Similar story here. So yesterday you kind of were range bound in the afternoon side of things between 156.97, call it 157, and approximately 158 as well. And that's your pre-market low, is around that 156.97. So if you're looking to go short, you got to break that area, have the retest, and then go. If you're trying to play to the long side, you want to wait for that 158 pop and break and retest on Apple. On Tesla, the only support that I currently see is about a 186, but it's not the strongest one, so I'm going to leave this one alone. Not really looking to play Tesla. On AMD, it had it flushed all the way down in the morning, then it found support at 93, and then kind of rallied back and almost went ahead and broke even on the day. But nonetheless, let's see how it wants to go ahead and go. If you're looking to play this one long, got to wait for a break of 99. And then on the retest, you can try to go. That's what I'll be looking for at least. You can already see my alerts are set. And let's see if we can get a point to 100, and then maybe we can play the rejection from there. On NVIDIA, looking for a break of 264. You can already see I had my alert set already from a couple of trading days ago. If we can go ahead and break that on the retest, I would be interested in playing that one to the long side. Don't really like anything to the short side. If you're looking to find another support area, I believe 260 can be one. I might have to sneeze here in a second. But that's something that I've got on NVIDIA. Taking a look at Amazon here. On Amazon, the $100 is what I'm going to be looking to play. Matter of fact, I'm going to see if I can go ahead and short it. So we're going to short 200 shares of Amazon at 99.93. Have a stop loss of 154. Look to take profits around 99.32. That may be adjusted depending on where the action goes. But that's a play that I've got at the moment. You may be able to find support somewhere around the 98 area on Amazon, but I want to play that $100 rejection. I'll give it 50 cents on that one. Let's go ahead and take a look at Microsoft. You can see how beautifully that 270 level held once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Tried to get below it, could not. Now we're breaking out above the 274 area. And I'm not quite sure how I'd play this one long. So I'd leave it alone, but the level to play this one short. You can see I've already got my alert set. If this breaks 270, I would very, very much be interested in playing this one to the downside. You've got Meta that's above $200, currently trading at 204. I'm not quite sure what the news is, if there is any news for this
upgrade.
Thank you. So there's a $4 or $5 pop on the upgrade. Ryan knows all. And you've got, I'd personally wait to see if there is a 200 test. And if there is, that's where I'd be interested in this one. You can see if you look left, you had 200 act as resistance. I'd wait for the retest. I'm not sure if I want to play it all the way here. Maybe you can play it above a 204 pop and a test back, but not something that I like personally. On gold, you have the 1850. I saw options coming in yesterday. Clearly, we're gapping down a little bit. But if gold can get over 1850, I'd be interested in that one. Same story with Oxy. Saw some options coming into that one. I was going to try to play it above 5950, but obviously it's popping up to the 60s. Not sure what the game plan would be for me here. But I'll let Ryan go if he's ready, and then I'll come back if there's still time left. It's all you.
Yep. So I'll just pick up here on Meta because I think this is actually going to be in play today. The upgrade was a Morgan Stanley upgrade, so it wasn't just a price target. They actually upgraded it to overweight and raised the price target from 190 to 250. So that's your catalyst here for this morning. You also have some of the TikTok stuff going on, right? So if TikTok ends up getting banned or can't be used anymore, we expect Meta to be a beneficiary of that. And so that's still floating out there as well. Now, if we take a look at the chart here, Z, I really like your plan on that. I think that I would just follow the same thing. Looking at the daily chart here, this certainly does look like it actually wants to break out, right? I wouldn't be surprised if we, over the next several sessions, try to challenge this 500-day moving average, which is the purple line. that you see here, that's right about 240. So 240 seems about right. Remember, the price target was 250. Those are 12 to 18 months in terms of their time frame. So they're thinking it's going to go up over the next year here. But that's Meta. Let's take a look at SPY, which we've been in the habit of taking a look at every day. We do have a bit of a rally on our hands here. I'm going to not buy this rally. I don't necessarily believe it. I expect tomorrow to be the big day of the week. If you take a look at the volume from yesterday, it was pitiful by comparison. So, we did trade up a little bit here. We are above the 395 level. I expect if we do continue to trade up, I expect us to find resistance at 400 or just below 400. It's about 3 SPY points away from where we're at now. So that is what I would give as the upside of the range, but I actually wouldn't be shocked if we kind of turned around and gave some of this back here before the FOMC decision tomorrow. And I think in that case, we're still expecting 25 bips. So we'll see what happens there. Let me go ahead and move over to the movers tool, where there are a couple of things that we're going to talk about here. First one's going to be QNCX. This is actually one that we've traded before. In fact, some of these lines that I had on here were from the last time that we traded this, right? So if we go back to a daily chart, you can see the stock loves to pop and then give it all back. So we're popping here today. Let's see if we can catch some momentum to the upside, but this is certainly not a stock to hold overnight based on its past performance. We know it likes to give those gains back. I would say if we do day trade this today, let's make sure if you get gains, you actually take them as opposed to waiting for that to come back in. I know some of us have been, myself included, have been reducing the position size and widening the stop. That's actually caused me to get stopped out of a couple trades, although the loss isn't bad because the position size has been reduced. Of course, the bank's still front and center. We did have some news here this morning, actually, that was pretty important. If I go over to the news feed that I have, we had Janet Yellen says that the government could backstop more deposits if necessary to stop contagion. So it looks like the government is doing anything they can to ensure that this bank crisis doesn't go any further or doesn't spread to any other banks. As a result, we're seeing some of these banks pop here this morning. Remember, FRC was whacked about 40% or so yesterday, up about 26% here today. So we'll see. Now, for a potential trade, I know we've traded this before. This and Wall seem to be the biggest of the short-term trades, and that might be on deck here today. I'm staying away from the banks. I don't like the banks even when they're healthy. I like them even less when they're not healthy. Next here is going to be QLGN. So we got a couple of Q microcap stocks going here. QLGN, really skeptical of this. You could see it really tried to make moves off the VWAP and couldn't, and actually failed, and we're below the VWAP now. So we're still going to mark off some lines so we can determine where we're going here. And we got one more here for support, which we're kind of at already. So I'd be really careful here with this one. We do have a catalyst here. QLGN, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it here, are trading higher after the company announced the US PTO granted its patent number, blah, 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 its lead oncology investigational drug candidate. So we got a patent news here this morning. It is related to oncology, but I think that that's probably a little bit of a weak link, so wouldn't necessarily trust that here. USX, let's see, this actually I hadn't looked at. Oh, this I think is a reverse split. Yes, I believe that this is. Let me go ahead. LLAP, we've actually traded this recently. LLAP having another morning here today, gave back most of its gains, but what we would really want to see here is a move through the VWAP. We can move through the VWAP on good volume in the opening session. Maybe we can actually challenge some of those highs. 2 might be on deck here for sure today on LLAP, so we'll see if we can end up trading up there. We got some more banks on the list here, the same cast of characters we had yesterday: PACW, NYCB, UBS, KRE, which is the regional bank ETF, if you want to play it that way. Also have in here CellB. This is actually one that we've traded off of the relative volume scanner before. This is Selecta Biosciences, and they have a catalyst here too. They're trading higher after the company announced that phase 3 dissolve program of SEL-212 in chronic refractory gout met the primary endpoint. So seems like some good news here, really giving the gains back. We'll see if these are strong at all once the market opens. And then one more, we talked about Meta a little bit, but one more here I saw mentioned in the chat, which is one we've talked about a number of times before, is ON. So they reported earnings. They're trading up here. Looks pretty good. These, of course, make ON shoes, which I know are gaining in popularity. And it looks like we're actually trying to challenge some more of these levels. So next next spot I'd put here at 29, and then 31, maybe 31.5. So we'll see if ON gets any continuation off the backs of its positive earnings. Now, Zunaid, that's about all I have here. I really liked Mitch's note on tech. I think tech's really interesting. We'll see what happens with the Fed decision. I think a lot of that could play into some of these tech names. But one thing to keep in mind is that no matter what tech names you pick, Apple, through thick and thin, has proved to be the most resilient, and that's really no surprise. So that would be one to think about for a long-term play, especially if the Fed does pause. We'll see how that ends up going. That's about all I got. You want me to throw it back to you here, Zunaid?
Yeah, sure. If Apple struggles, it's definitely not going to be a good sign. We can just quickly take a look at Apple again, just kind of within that range of about $1 of 157 and 158. Matter of fact, let me move this puppy a little bit higher. There we go. But yeah, we'll see how this one kind of plays out. It looks like it may break the pre-market lows. We'll see what happens. Maybe if it breaks about 50 cents, comes back to test it, we can try to play that one on that side. But there are any other tickers for us to keep an eye on. Let us know. Some who is it? Crow, I think that's CISO. Unless I completely spelled it wrong. Yes, I did. See, this is a penny stock. I am not the greatest with this, but I would assume maybe a 50-cent test. If it holds, you could risk about 5 cents or so. But again, I am not an expert in this whatsoever, so I'm going to leave that one alone. Someone said, who was it? Kenneth said, NVIDIA is ready for a massive sell-off. Well, it is coming up $2 away from what I have as resistance at the 264, so quite possibly. Not quite sure how it'll play out, but you can definitely do that. And let's see, FTNT. All right, FTNT kind of was in a range later on in the day. Wait, where's the... Okay, for some reason, TradingView doesn't have the pre-market info for this one. The way that I see it is to play it above 62. If it cracks above 62, I could be interested in this one. Let's see what the 30-minute looks like. Yeah, if I can get over the 62 area here. Let me see if I can do something about this. Hang on. Is that how I fix this? Hang on. That is how I fix it. Cool. Yeah, if it'll go ahead and pop above 62, I think this could be interesting. And then obviously you've got a little bit of resistance around 63s and then a little bit higher than that as well. Really interested to see how Amazon behaves. If it does go ahead and even touch that $100, if it does, if not, no worries on that end. CROX, Crooks, 122. 122 is the area I'd keep an eye on if it wants to go ahead and break out of this one. So you can set an alert right there. Or if you want to play it short, 118, right? So you've got this little range in the past couple of days. Go ahead and take a look at the daily. You can see a similar story as well. It's kind of in this range right here for the couple of days. What is that? Engulfing candle, I believe is what it's called. But that's
what you're asking me. I'm sorry, Zunaid. I wasn't.
You're good, buddy. Don't worry about it. We're good. Let's see. CENT. All right, this one's kind of all over this place. It's not the cleanest chart that I have looked at, so I can't give you any insight with a lot of confidence, but I'd say a breakout over 40. You can see this is how it was support, cracked, resistance. So you'd want to get it back over $40 on that one. CSIQ. Looks like this one is gapping up a little bit to the upside. Not sure how I'd play this one. Maybe above 40, but not too positive on that one. PDD. All right. This one's got a little bit of a movement to make if it can break out above 83s, or if it wants to go ahead and break down below 77s. But if you're trying to play this one to the long side, yeah, because see, if you go ahead and continue to look left, look at this right there. You've got support, and now you got resistance, and that is the bell. Here we go.
Let's go,
good luck,
team.
folks. Yeah, a couple of things here. Jay, Ryan gave you ON. You were actually the second person to tell me. I know that's surprising, Jay, but you're actually the second person to tell me about ON. Still super, super early. The private equity guy that's liked this for a long, long time. And this is exactly why. Becca's saying here, my neighbor is obsessed with ON. She just got 2 new pairs. This is what I've heard from both men and women. They are obsessed with these shoes. And I think that, stocks like that can end up having huge runs, even if the numbers don't necessarily support it. There is Zunaid's smoke alarm alert.
What
Everything is right with the world.
I have to see what kind of shoes those are. Let's see what's going on with Apple. Apple, there you go. Tried to pop above resistance. Could not. Getting rejected.
Gonna take it easy out the gates here, team. Definitely not trying to trade too much early on, especially in this environment. We still got to work through. So trying to take very small opportunities and just trying to bang in, bang out, not trying to be swinging too much in this. We got to get through the FOMC meeting first. Then I can worry about taking more swings.
Tesla, just huge calls bought off the open here. My entire list here is pretty much all Tesla, a little bit of Google and Apple. Calls range from the 185s all the way up to the 200s. So Tesla calls getting bought here on that huge move out of the open.
Making a nice little uplift there. You guys were just talking about it. Now towards 26.39. With that one, you can watch maybe Nike to get the uplift today. They do report after the bell. But if they got the lift, it already was affecting Nike. You guys can see it here in the pre-market, how this is going up. And then right now, it's getting a little bit of a spike here on Nike. You can maybe look for Foot Locker to kind of keep coming down because it's just this little pop here. And yesterday's pop was such a gift, man. I talked about it yesterday.
Yeah, you did.
I should have been shorting the hell out of Foot Locker. It was such a nice opportunity yesterday around the 45s, 46 level. To nail this one to the downside. The guidance for me was what was going to come into play with Foot Locker. Even though they gave okay numbers, if you guide horribly in the future, I think it's just a matter of time before your stock takes the hit.
ON at highs here. More love in the chat here for ON. Jan saying even elderly people here in Switzerland are wearing these. I have 6 pairs. 6. Wow. So that's what I mean. Huge cult following, or I shouldn't even say that. Huge following here. By the way, QNCX, this is one of the stocks from the list, really flirting with that 142 level. It was above it briefly here, coming back in a little bit. We'll see if we can actually trade up to that 150 again. Be careful with trading the actual breaks. I try and front run these with a tight stop just to see if you can get some of those gains.
Like that analyst chasing Meta getting hit now as it's pulling back. Meta got an upgrade today by Morgan Stanley. It seems like Morgan Stanley's been sitting on some notes and finally determined to get them out.
Morgan Stanley was the note issuer of that Meta upgrade this morning.
Yep. And also remember they upgraded NVIDIA just recently.
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and get some Apple here on the breakout. We got it on the retest. So here's Apple, broke out, got it filled on the retest, 200 shares at 157.95. Looking to sell at approximately 158.36 if I can get it out.
SPY pushing here at 397.85s. We'll see if it keeps coming up or does it do a little bit of a pullback now.
Jay, all over ON. My leaps doubled. I actually think you gave us that, but I forgot what contracts you bought. I know you were talking earlier about buying this under 20. Forgot what contracts you have, but awesome stuff there. If they've doubled, I'm assuming you're booking half of that, right? Per rules.
Come on, Apple.
Going to be watching
easy here out the gates
today for pullbacks and tech. Sorry, Mitch.
You're good, my friend. I'm just taking it easy right now, just looking around. There are some stocks moving. Nothing that I see that I want to just come after right now. This has got to be easy out the gates as of late. I've seen a lot of fake outs here out the gates. Energy going higher again today, so that's why I stopped out of the trade. Still looking to get reshort the oil names, but going to give them a little bit of a chance to get some run, and then I can go after it. Just to put it out there on the radar at 11 a.m., I do know that I think Putin and Xi are supposed to be giving a like press conference. So 11 a.m. Eastern, there could be some swing in the market. Be careful out there, team.
Jay, massive. You're still 669 nice days left on those contracts. Trim some of the stock, but holding the options. All right. Giddy up,
All right.
as they say. Big move here today.
Apple limit order hit. We take gains off of that.
FAS pulling back here. Let's take a look at the bigger banks. JPM went up at the gates there to 131, now pulling back a little bit. I think if it holds 129.50 today, you're still looking for a little bit of upside in these banks. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to be taking smaller banks, but I have no problem trading the bigger banks just because I don't think those will give me a tape bomb out of nowhere and all of a sudden they disappear. But the regional banks can, right? It could just be.
Forget they have been. Yeah,
exactly. You get what I mean, Ryan? Like I don't mind maybe a bigger bank, maybe taking a little bit of a day trade. But even swinging these banks, I think, is even dangerous. Even the bigger ones. I don't want to swing the bigger ones either.
The banking sector is so back and forth from day to day. You're right, though, that the bigger banks have less of a headline risk. That's what you're referring to when you're saying tape bomb. They have way less of a headline risk throughout the course of the day. But still, well, I don't feel comfortable holding any of these overnight. Like I said, the bank trade's been tough, even when banks are healthy, let alone when they're sick.
All right, CSIQ reported today. Now that's pulling back there to 37.25s. We'll see if we're able to get a little bit of a bounce there. It did bounce. Now double bottom on the 5 minutes around 37.22s. Look to see if this comes back. I see in solar, some of these names are already doing well. So keep your eyes on SPWR going higher, Nova going higher, Beam going higher, Run, EMPH. So these could get moving today as you're starting to see some solar stocks move today.
I'm going to try to go ahead and I've got 150 shares of Apple here once again. So we already made money the first time around. Let's see if we can do the second time around.
QLGN, Quailogen Therapeutics up to that 131 level. We've got a possible breakout on that at 136. We'll see if that happens. I don't trust it. Those range breaks to the upside haven't been working, but that is setting up here.
Getting some bounce up today, but still haven't taken too many trades here. Just trying to stay on the sidelines right now as the market kind of figures out what it wants to do. I feel like right now, definitely tech names are kind of leading the SPY. Micron was one that I gave off a daily kind of low outlook. And man, that thing's really been moving since then. This is one that I missed on the swing, but why did I go after this one? This one was actually declining when all the stocks were making moves up. And then Thursday, this one just started shooting off. And I almost grabbed it there in the 54s, but I was looking for 53.50 pullback, never got it. It's already taken off now to 60. And from that outlook from like Thursday, it's been up like about 11%. So keep an eye out on that one. I also said Marvell was another one that looked good. Very similar pattern, right? It's off the lows. It's been lagging behind the action in tech. And now you're seeing that continue the move today. So those are names that I'd keep an eye out in tech. AMD continuing. That one could get to even 100 today. We'll see if it gets up there and continues to push.
SRXL continuing to hit the lows here. We'll see if we catch that. That could be a potential reversion trade. I'm still looking at my scanner here on the other screen. Sorry, Zunita, I didn't mean to run you over there.
You're good. Apple went ahead and got stopped out. Still going to keep an eye on it. AMD did go ahead and peak above the 98.76 level that we have set out. We'll see how this one closes on this 5-minute candle.
Pullback to VWAP on Apple doesn't look too bad here. 157.50 bottoming right now. I would let it test 157.50 one more time if I wanted to kind of get bull on Apple today. But to tell you the truth, team, I'm looking at the SPY. I'm just trying to be patient. Patience has been paying off here, and waiting later in the day to trade seems to have been working a little bit more than just
sure
out the
has.
gates.
Sure has, Mitch.
Yeah, I've been seeing like more trend moves later in the day, so I'm trying to be patient and not use all my powder too early. All right.
Netflix week here today.
Looks like I got a report of gold back ETF. GLD draws 1.2 billion in inflows amid, of course, the banking crisis that's going on. So, how is gold doing today? Pulling back right now. GLD right off the VWAP. GLD is the one that we're talking about. That one's pulling back right now. We'll look to see if it can catch a bounce around. I'm looking for 182 to catch a bounce and maybe start working its way at the end of the day. X pushing higher. I was looking at X today. I did get an alert set off for X, but it's just already too high. So I could look for some pullbacks, but it already gapped in the pre-market, and that's my only issue with X. So I got to look for some pullback opportunity. You see the gap here. You see it already going higher. So if it could pull back to this area, let's say over here around 25.33s, then I don't mind it. But I think it's just a little bit too high for me to chase here. Could look at some other steel players like Nucor, Cleveland-Cliff. Basic Materials is not doing too bad today. Leading stocks are energy, financial services, and industrials. It just seems to me like it's interesting to see financial services up on the high end, right? Just keeping an eye out on these bigger banks like JPM, seeing if they're going to VWAP bounce, go back to the upside here, and continue the up move. You can take a look at FAS if you feel that they are going to VWAP bounce, because this has already made a big move here in the pre-market. We've been watching this since yesterday. It is trying to show a little bit of reversal. Of course, that's leverage trade, so be careful.
And as far as the banks go, we also had a note here. Shares of several companies in the broader financial sector are trading higher following reports suggesting JPM CEO Jamie Dimon is leading discussions to come up with a new rescue plan for First Republic Bank. Also, Treasury Secretary Yellen said the government is prepared to take more action to aid these banks. So, Mitch, that's why you're seeing that entire sector up here today. Like I said, more headline news coming out about providing some type of support to these banks that are struggling.
I got back into Apple, and I'm also in the options trade here. I got the 160 calls expiring this week. I got filled at, where's my fill? I got filled at 108. The stop loss for me on this is about 80 cents. Looking for us to go ahead and break through these levels and come back to about the 158 area.
Rejection there in Bank of America to get out of the bearish pattern. That's a move through 29 today. Big thing for me on Bank of America is this declining kind of triangle here, right? You got a declining trend line, horizontal bottom line. We're going to call that a descending triangle, right? You guys can learn about this. Gotta say, at the book club, we'll be talking about these patterns actually this weekend, but we'll see what happens. Does it get back through the 29? That's the level that I'll be looking for to show that Bank of America is strong today and wants to continue moving.
TSM at highs.
All right, TSM.
AMD still
Tech stocks.
Yeah,
Right.
but some of the tech stocks pulled back, like Netflix, Apple, Amazon. They all pulled back. AMD, the actual semis,
They actually look
still
good
hitting
though.
highs here.
I actually even like Apple on this pullback here. It went right back to the 157.50, bounced off of that level. So it looks interesting here for a buy, at least for me.
All right, Apple coming back down.
Let it test that 157.50s. If it can't break it, I'll go long on it. But being patient, right? Like letting it test numbers, not like just jumping in it beforehand, right? Because then I get in it, the test is the number, I get out immediately. That doesn't really make sense for me. I think I've shared the link like multiple times. Nez Shell, I think you've reached out multiple times. What I would say is just hit up my email, mitch@benzinga.com. And then that way I'll make sure that you get it and get into the book club. That's a very Hachi thing to say.
What? Oh,
She's just messing with me.
Hachi, Mitch Hachi, got it. I was like, what is that? What is the new lingo that I don't know what it means?
Messing with me, man. Messing
More
with
Tesla
me.
calls still? Man, Tesla calls been strong all morning here today.
I don't know why this chart isn't working for me, but oh well, not a big deal. Looking at the market overall, how's the SPY doing here? SPY trying to keep going. It's at VWAP right now, so it just bounced there.
SOXS looking like this might try to make a move here. Just kind of a regression to the mean off some of these semiconductor stocks.
All right, SPY looking like it wants to go higher. I'm taking my shot in Apple. If I get a fill, it jumped on me there, team. I'm trying to get a fill on the pullback here. There we go. We in, baby. We in. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's go for it. Apple 157.66. Holding off of the 45s, looking for the SPY to take the highs here, right? So that's what we need. We need to push through the 398s. VWAP test is where you got to be careful for the takedown.
Tesla, more new highs here. Man, Tesla's strong here this morning.
Tesla.
That would have been the right stock to be in.
Tesla.
Meta just selling off as soon as the market opened. Strong in the pre-market, but as soon as the market opened, weakness. We'll see if that catches anywhere and bounces.
All right. Apple, another test of the 157.50s, went to 157.49, back up to 68s. Let's see it take VWAP now as it faked to the downside here. Would like to see the SPY take off, though, through the 398s to give me a little bit more confirmation on the trade. Qs overall right at VWAP. Let's see if it goes to 308, 090s and then gets to the 309.
Russ saying ENPH is strong. Number of solar names here were strong out of the gate. Chris saying, who do you got winning the tournament, Ryan? Well, begrudgingly, Alabama. I think that they're clearly the best team, but this tournament has been so full of upsets. I think it's anybody's game. Speaking of which, Mitch, did you catch the Japan-Mexico World Baseball Classic game yesterday?
Of course, my friend.
That is one of the best baseball games of any kind that I have seen in a long, long time. That is the first
Have you been
time.
catching the World Baseball games? The World Baseball Classic games?
Have I?
Yeah.
This is the second one this go around that I've watched. So not as many as that I'd like, but boy, oh boy, did I get the best one. Last night's game was unbelievable. That was the first time I've actually seen Hiroki Sasaki in like live. Like I've only seen clips of him.
Boom, stopped out there in Apple on that pullback. Stopped out at Apple 44s, stopped out there. Small little loss there, about 22 cents, but just got to go ahead and manage it, right? It gave us a chance to get back up there, VWAP type of move. And what do you see? The Qs come below the VWAP there. We'll look to see if they recover. SPY now just kind of making a, there's like 3 or 4 tops on the 5 minutes. It's 9:45. Let's see if we get reversal to the downside here. So there it is. There's the SPY. Ooh. Boom, boom. Gets hit hard, right? Look how Apple reacted on that. I'm glad I got out early, because if not, that would have cost me 40 cents, 50 cents more, right? You got to be careful on that. And I will say about the World Baseball Classic is that some people are saying that it's not a good thing that we have the World Baseball Classic.
They're wrong.
They don't know the sport at all.
Yeah, they're wrong.
This is the number one thing about a sport is the passion behind it and the feeling that you get when you watch it, right? This is why people watch football, because there's passion to the sport, right? And so if anything, you need to show off more passion of the sport so that you can get new viewers. So the World Baseball Classic does exactly that. I don't know if anyone's ever been to a World Baseball Classic game, but when you represent a country, you root for your team. When you represent just a team, it's not the same. You might not like somebody on that team, but let's just be honest. When you can root for your whole country, pretty much root for everybody on that squad, even if you don't like them.
QNCX trying to bust the top off here. We'll see if we end up getting it on QNCX. Just kind of watching it. I really don't trust this. I want to see this move work a couple of times before I end up going to trade it. I'm okay, especially now prior to the Fed meeting. I'm okay with dialing back the number of trades. I made 0 yesterday. And frankly, this morning, I don't really see anything I like. The one thing I'm kind of stalking here is if I see some weakness in the market, I might try to play the semiconductor short ETF here for a scalp. But other than that, don't feel great about these. We'll see if QNCX can actually bust above. We're currently at 152. Spot here was 150. Let's see if we end up getting some push. I really, really want to see some topside range breaks continue to get some momentum here. We've not seen that yet, and in fact, the volume not supporting this. Yeah, Mitch, and then tonight, of course, is the championship game, right? It's going to be Japan, US tonight. I can't wait for that.
Yep.
After watching last night, I'm extremely excited for that. Let me tell you something. Randy Arozarena's story about why he plays for the Mexican national team, that's worth looking into. Dude was born in Cuba and left his family to try and make money playing baseball when he was younger after his father passed away. Literally got on a raft and floated from Cuba to Mexico. Said that the Mexico welcomed him like a son and now is playing for him, gave him a huge spark, had multiple monster plays. Just an awesome story. I agree with you on that whole passion thing. Talk to the players. Players like playing it. And the whole argument against it was Edwin Diaz's injury. He got injured celebrating. He didn't even get injured playing. He got injured celebrating. That can happen anywhere. It could happen to him getting off a Stairmaster or a treadmill at home. Just an incredibly weak, unthought out argument. The World Baseball Classic is excellent.
We'll see what happens here. I am watching the banks. They tried to make a run towards like JPM to 131, and then it pulled back to the VWAP, trying to hold it now. Spies is playing with us right now on VWAP. It cut through, now right back at VWAP. This is what I think I'm watching, the banks, right? Because a lot of people are watching the banks. If this starts pushing, look how Bank of America is actually a little bit stronger than JPM. So you could see Bank of America up to the high end of the range versus like JPM, which is just bouncing off the VWAP here. So I'm looking to see if the banks push, does the SPY reverse and give us that upside move? Then we could start seeing that we could get that follow through. So that's what I'm looking at. I think banks kind of lead here, watching them. Of course, you guys take everything with a little bit of grain of salt.
200 approaching on Meta. We'll see if we get filled at 216 and 203.
The thing there, I do think big tech is the focus, Jan, but the big thing there is the money's already rotated. It's not rotating now. And so if you think that it's rotating now, you're really late to the game there in tech. Doesn't mean that you can't trade these. Yeah. But remember, they've already run pretty significantly already.
Remember, we had Jay from the chat here calling that rotation yesterday.
I mean, it's been going on. It's been going on before that. Really, let's just be honest. If you take a look at the bank stocks, they'll show you, or the tech stocks, they'll show you it. Especially like even like let's say like a Microsoft, right? Microsoft, you can see it here, right? Look at this. That's a pretty big run there in Microsoft. Google, look, that's a pretty big run in Google. You know what I mean? For Google to go 12%, it takes something, team. But I think they're a little bit higher, right? And so we could get these little fake out to the downside and then get tech continuation. That's why you guys even see me trading like an Apple trade, because I do think tech could go, but it's going to be for me more like a day trade, right? So I'm looking at JPM, and that's looking stronger here. Now it's starting to push teams. So I'm looking at FAS for the day trade here. I'm going to take a shot here on FAS. Got to go in it slow because it could pull back here. And as I say it, literally it's pulling back. So you just got to be careful here, but looking to maybe day trade some of these banks. And if I do it, it's going to be through this little leverage vehicle to just make a little move back to the upside.
Chop asking about Square, it looks like. No Square. Sorry we didn't get to it. We got a lot of stocks that were going over here, especially right around the open. As far as Square goes, though, I don't really see anything going on here. I know it's trading up about 3.5% here. This trend line, this recent trend line, this is what I'd really like to see broken. We're still making lower lows as we're doing our price discovery here. I think Square is just up with the rest of the tech sector here today. I don't see any material news here for Square. As far as the actual product, I do like this long term, but how much do you like this with a weakening consumer, right? How are those fees going to be? How's the income going to be if less people are swiping their card at any of these terminals? That would be the thing that I worry about. So from a technical perspective, again, would love to see this trend line get invalidated. Maybe we could test the highs here at 90 and then maybe 100 next. But don't necessarily see what the next move is here, or catalyst for that matter.
All right, team. I am seeing JPM up there to 131 now. Just got through the intraday high. Look at the SPY now playing a little bit of catch up as this move starts moving. We'll take a look at some tech names to see if they take off, but definitely we got a little bit of a fake out to the downside here. Now the bank's trying to push a little bit higher. We'll take a look at Bank of America. I am in FAS here at 56.81. Wanted to add it at the 56.70s, but it's already up there to 56.90s. Look at Bank of America take off here on the right-hand side. That's another stock that was looking a little bit stronger. Just keeping an eye on these banks to see if they're going to start making a move. And for that, let's take a peek at FRC. I'm not going to trade it, but there you guys see it going a little bit higher right now.
FRC
and that's why I'm in
needs
this
a 16
trade.
bust, Mitch. This needs a break above 16. The one thing we are seeing here with FRC is we are seeing some of this volume actually pick up and turn to buy volume. That's what we need to keep seeing. We actually need more of this here. Here we are through 16. So you can see we got what, a 15-cent pop there, an immediate knife back to 16. I'm with you here, Mitch. I think the safer trade, if you're going to day trade and scalp this, the safer trade is a curl off one of the supports. It looks like it tried to do that earlier here today, right? Kind of selling off towards VWAP, couldn't quite get there, then started to trade back up.
All right, we'll see what else happens. What are the levels for JPM next? Yeah, I can take a look at that.
Yeah, let me put you back up here, Mitch.
Let me go to the hourly and see what we got here on hourly levels. So last time that we cut into this area, we were like stopping right around this 131. But from there, there's a little bit of a gap zone, and you had this spike to 132s pretty much. It was 131.95. So up towards 131.50s and 132, you are going to be fighting through some of those shorts, right? Just be careful out there. Really, it isn't until 135 till we're clear that downside action in JPM. We'll look to see if we get that big push. Really, I'm watching the SPY here. Look how the SPY is just catching up now trying to make that move to 398. I take a look. I'm probably going to miss the Apple trade now, but it does look like it's setting up back towards the upside. Look at Google going higher there. Microsoft, we'll look to see if this plays catch up. Tesla could keep running today at that 191. I think we could get towards maybe 200 on Tesla before we get turnaround, but it's still strong on the day. AMD, back at VWAP right now. If you guys like a stock at VWAP, this one doesn't look too bad off the kind of the 98.40 area. We'll see what happens there. And NVIDIA now retracing after pulling back here out the gates. What about that on one? Oh, that continued, man. Look at that chart, top left chart. That looks pretty strong. That's a nice strong uptrend there. We'll look to see if we get some pullback on there, but on with a nice little push.
I think you have FRC that might have been halted, I believe. Let's see.
FRC getting halted?
Yep. Halted to the upside here. That 16 break, we got triggered on the buy. Now the question is going to be, where in the world do we open? I've got sells at about 1687. Ideally, maybe we can hit like a 17s. If you can see that's support, crack. We'll see if that goes and touches that area or not. Let me see if there are any options coming in. Ryan, do you see any while I check?
For which?
FRC.
FRC. Let me check for you.
Let's see if JPM gives you that 131 push. It just did a pullback towards around 130.75, trying to push through 131s now.
Zunaid, I have nothing of note here.
Yeah.
I have mostly puts, and even those aren't crazy. So I would say nothing of note here on the unusual options.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see anything either. Okay. Well, I guess at this point, we'll see where we get filled. I'm at the mercy of them. Possible 32. You want me to hold it till 32, Crow? Where's 32? Boy, that's all the way up here. You think I can get $2,000?
We're pushing, team. JPM now towards 131.25. FAS towards 57. Going to look for a nice little push towards 57.25. And SPY now creating kind of a little bit of a triple top look towards the 397.90. So let's see if we can close 5 minute into the 398. That's what I'm looking for on the SPY. And on a 5 minute candle basis. There we go. A little bit higher in that FAS trade here. Now into 57s. JPM trying to push. SPY, can we get through this level into the 398s. There's 398 showing up here. 398.05, 398.09s. 5-minute candle closed what? 398.04. So it just did that little spike in the last little seconds there. Now closing up towards that 398. Let's look for pullbacks to start holding here around maybe 397.75. I don't want it to come back to 397.40s because that's more of a chop look, right? But if I can draw a little bit of a trend line here, right, that's where it kind of adds up for it to kind of catch and keep going. We'll see what happens here in the market. How's Bank of America doing? I'm sure it's pushing strong. Yeah, this is one that, so like, remember I talked about it, right? I didn't want to really go for these smaller banks, but this is a type of move that not a bad move there, right? I mean, that would have been a nice one to catch. Bank of America, small little risk here on this one towards like 28.40s. And you already got a nice little pop here, about 1.5%, 44 cents on that. Doesn't look too bad. Nice little up move here in Bank of America.
CDTX, Sidera Therapeutics. We've talked about this one before. 16-cent move off the open here. 18-cent move off the open here. Just really kind of staircasing up. Not really a whole lot to note here. No real entry triggers, but we've seen this before, so this might actually draw some eyeballs to it. Really need to see some volume expand.
All right, we got up there to 57.17. As we break through the 57.25, going to sell some profit and look for a nice little push here. We'll see if it can keep moving up.
All right, here's a game plan that I have on FRC. We're going to split it up into 3 limit orders. Selling some at about 1677, 1784s, and then 1974.
What is
might move? What's up?
What was the entry that you caught on this one?
1606.
Awesome job. Right through that 16 level. Nailed it early. Great job, Zunaid.
Thank you. You're the one who pointed it out. Caught my attention. Now, what I'm not going to lie, I'm interested to see what the actual fill on this 1676 is, because if it halts up here, right, if it starts back up here, that's where I'm going to get filled regardless. So interested to see. The main reason is you've got support so much here that could clearly end up being resistance, but we'll see. Want to take some pieces out.
Yeah, I like that idea, right? You want to book some of those gains because this thing is liable to. How many times have we seen this thing reverse?
Oh, yeah.
In both directions, right? In both directions. So we want to make sure you get some of those gains in your pocket. Hi, buddy. Are you going to behave yourself now or what?
JPM moving higher.
Someone asked me about Amazon. So look, you had resistance here on the day, right? 1, 2, 3, and before it popped. Then you got the retest, and then now you're moving up. I still do have my sells. And looks like I just got filled on FRC as that one did pop above 17. So there we go. First limit order is out. Second limit order is 1784. Third one's going to be 1974. We shall keep an eye on how things turn out.
Now,
I am going to go ahead and move break even, though, on my stops.
You were reading my mind. That was my next question.
Yep.
Momentum trading.
And we're about to get stopped out maybe at about 10 cents, 3 cents, 4 cents, something like that.
Come on, bounce from here. Give him the movement.
Right, look right here. Come on, bounce from right there.
SPY pulled back also. That's what I'm seeing too there, but it wasn't massive. It held around the 397.75. So just keep an eye out on, at least for, I'm looking at the SPY, right, seeing if it's going to hold this 397.75 pullback.
FRC did halt to the downside.
That's the tough part. That's the tough part, man.
RG asking, anyone got the halt times? Yes, I've got them here for you. So the initial halt up on FRC was 9:57.54. The resumption was 10:03.01. And the rehalt this time to the downside was 10:03.43. Stock spent 42 seconds open before it halted. And somehow in that 42 seconds, Sniper Zunaid over here was able to get one of those sell orders out. So real good stuff there.
Well, hey, sometimes I miss my snipes as well, as you can see on Meta right over here, right? So we wanted to buy this at 216. The stock came all the way down to 220. So I missed it by 4 pennies, and it made the move that I was looking for of at least $1, gave you 2, but I could not get filled. So I am now going to cancel these orders because that trade already kind of worked. It just unfortunately didn't fill us. Let's go ahead and check out the SPY.
Back to VWAP.
Don't we have Yellen coming up here soon?
Not yelling. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you do. I don't know about yelling. I just know the 11 a.m. Putin. The Putin.
You're welcome, RG.
All right, the SPYs is pulling back too hard here. You got to be careful with these pullbacks. JPM already pulling back about 40 cents, 50 cents. SPY could have just trapped us to the upside here. So just be careful, team. We are getting a little bit of a pullback. I think I'm not concerned unless we break 397 on downside, but it definitely gave us that quick little pullback look.
You've got a bit of a bounce from the pre-market highs, which is acting as support. It has done that previously, doing it at the moment. We'll see if it holds.
Beans and rices. Market looks great. Buy the dip. Oh, man. I saw a whole bunch of Credit Suisse puts come across here, but they were all cheapies. Again, nothing of note there. And that SOXS, yeah, Yellen is speaking. They've got it on. This is the American Bankers Association, the ABA.
Yellen,
Tell her to stop talking. There goes SPY to the downside. Tracks the pre-market highs. I was supposed to hold on to support.
Junaid. I'll text her right now, real quick.
Yeah, can you slack her, please? Thank you.
Slack her.
just yell.
Oh,
That's her name,
man.
right? Yellen. Just yell. You connect to her.
You guys.
If you yell, she might hear.
I've always wondered, does her hair block the sound?
That's exactly it. It's noise
I-
canceling.
I'm being mean now.
Noise canceling technology, man.
I'm being mean. No, I shouldn't do that.
Why not? Let's have some fun. All right, we're playing games right now, right? Because the 5 minute went below that 397, but you can see how we recovered 397 too. So just be careful out there, team. Seems like we did do a little bit of a hard pullback there, a little test of the 397. Will we close this 5 minute below 397? That's what I'm keeping an eye on for. Still looking at JPM pulling back. It still hasn't broken VWAP. So if that happens, yeah, definitely I'd be careful. But the bank's pulling back right now. How is big tech? That's what I'd be looking at. Apple's still hanging out here around the 157.40s. We'll see what happens on that one. Google was a little bit higher. That's still hanging in there. Microsoft, that actually went lower.
The ETF is about flat, Mitch, up 0.5%. I don't know if you use that in
Yeah,
anything.
that's not the worst. It just shows that the bigger names are down.
Jay, were you joking about this, or did she actually come out and blame climate change for the inflation again? Is that a joke, or did she actually say that here today?
ESG, bro.
I mean, glad to know she's taking this seriously, for heaven's sakes.
I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious how that works, or what the thought process is, I guess, rather.
Yeah, I'm actually getting tired of. I know that it's not a really positive outlook, but I'm getting tired of the spending for Ukraine. Like, I'm getting tired of it, man. We got to stop this.
Just now?
I think I understand it at the beginning. I understand some of it, but I don't understand the continued.
We had a note here this morning, too, regarding that. Pentagon plans to begin Abram tank deliveries to Ukraine as soon as this fall. That came from Reuters.
FRC is open. FRC got filled at break even.
Oh, big move down in FRC. Tell me your stops got you out of that one.
Yeah. I'm good and safe. So we had 3 legs. First leg profit. The last 2 break even.
I gotta say, this is not market related, so interrupt me, please. The best thing about spring are seeing all of the birds come back out. I'm on the 3rd floor here, right in the middle of a tree, and the bird activity is phenomenal. I got a red-winged blackbird out here that's singing his heart off. It's awesome.
All right, for those of you that like to play on ticker ON on holdings, you've got little inexpensive, but you've got the 3250 calls coming in on the ask expiring April 21st. So you've got a whole month for this, approximately $50,000 to $60,000 worth. So if this breaks 28, could be interested in those.
All right, going to look to see if we get that bounce here in JPM and then start bouncing right back up here. So looking at JPM, we'll look to see if I get the bounce. Still in this FAS, just hanging out here to see if we're going to just get a fake out to the downside and then a continuation from the banks here. Right-hand side JPM, that's what I'm really focused on because it was getting that lift to 131.50s. We'll look at the lift again towards that 131.50. Let's find out.
I'm going to go ahead and grab, let me see, where is it? Some Apple calls
LMT.
here. I got some Apple calls, the 160s again, back at 106 is my fill. Currently trading at 102, so you can get it cheaper than I did. But I'm a bit stubborn here with Apple, so just an FYI. Come on, Apple.
Yeah.
SPY, by the way.
Go
Went
ahead.
ahead and held that.
Like
You're
that
good.
bounce. Like that bounce there. Looking to add here on pullbacks and FAS.
Sinead, get in there, man. that was
SPY did
completely
go ahead and
unintentional.
bounce from 397. No, it's all good. Keep an eye on ON. If it does decide to pop above 28.
Will, yeah, I've got some woodpeckers out here too. Woodpeckers are fascinating. Sinead, I'm sorry, man.
No worries, bro. It's
No,
part of the, part of the three-man crew.
You're trying to be nice and polite and have manners, and Mitch and I
No,
are just kicking you over, man.
You wait till Slack when I get all caps.
I was gonna say,
What did I do there?
You're good.
I don't even notice. I didn't even notice.
You're good. Looks like On is trying to break 28, so we'll see if it's able to. Have alert set there. Apple trying to get above 157.82s. I'm going to remove some of these drawings.
Easy Go, big spike here. Let's see if there was a news event on Easy Go. That actually 20-cent move there. That'd have been good to scalp. Not on my radar. I didn't see anything. No news here. Looks like just a volume pop on Easy Go. See if I can figure out anything that's going on with that.
Just added there on FAS. Now just need to really hold towards the previous 5-minute low of 64.
What is going on with Easy Go?
Yep, SPY did reject. Look at that wick.
Just playing chop with the boys, man. This SPY. What a wick. What a wick up there. Through the trend line, right back down through the low. That's how this market can be, man. The traps out there, team. You got to be careful. A lot of traps. Trappy action, that's for sure. Keeping my eye on JPM. We got there towards 130.98. Do we take 131s on the upside move here? That's what I'm still looking at on the 5-minute. This candle will close in about 2 minutes here. Back to 56.90s here, bouncing. Come on, SPY. We're going to get to that 398. I'm even feeling it, team. The chop is even getting me stressing a little bit here. I'm like, come on. We're going to get the move or not? So don't worry about it if you're feeling a little bit of stress. That is normal. We're trading, right? Joe Conan. What does Joe got to talk to me about? All right. Definitely seeing the movement out there. Now the SPY right back to 397. Wouldn't you know it, team? The chop is playing with ourselves right now. I think one thing that I'm going to do is on the SPY, I'm going towards a 15 now. That will help a little bit with the price action here. But let's see if we go below 397s here. We're like just testing that. We don't want to see
FRC
this.
starting to make a move now. Back over again, 16.
Man, back up already? That thing is just wild. All right, guys, about to stop out of my trade here. Hands on the trigger for FAS as the SPY breaks down a little bit. I'm out. Got hit there, team FAS. I tried the bank trade today. Didn't work out for me. We'll see what happens. SPY just broke through that 397. I don't want to hang out. It's a tough day, man. Another day, where it's just tough trading, man. Tough trading. I'm glad I've only taken 2 trades today versus taking like 4, because I probably would have a lot just going against me. The chop action is what's doing that. It's the up and down from the top of the range to the bottom of the range. That's easily how we get chopped up in patterns.
All right, let's see. On our Apple trade, we're going to get stopped out here in a moment, keeping an eye to see if there's anything short that we can take. The only thing that comes to mind is this Meta if it breaks 200 on the test. The main reason I don't want to, though, is because it's up 1%. So it's still relatively strong in terms of percentage, but obviously it's just weak since the open as well. We'll see if that behaves in a certain manner. We did not get our fill, nowhere near it, on our short on Amazon from 100. So we're going to go ahead and cancel that puppy, as that's a little bit ways away.
JPM trying to recover here. Could be a wick 5-minute on the SPY. So this is what we mean by wicks can be tricks a lot of the times, where right now we cracked pretty significantly there on the 397. We went to 396.57. But look how this 5-minute candle is looking like it'll close actually, and it could actually switch to green before the end of the candle. We still got about 3 minutes left on this, probably about like 2 minutes and a half. But this could turn green and all of a sudden drive higher. That's the chop action that we're talking about. That's very difficult to deal with when you're getting those tricks to the downside and then all of a sudden a move back to the upside. You see how the candle went green now? That's where it gets really difficult. See what happens. This has about now, 2 minutes left? Yeah, 2 minutes left on the 5-minute candle. All right, looking around to see different stocks. How are those oil stocks doing? They did make a nice up move out the gates. Now starting to crack. Ooh, is this my opportunity to go shorting oil again? Should I fight Warren again? How's WTI? That's what I want to check on. Still climbing from the morning. Has a couple of tops, but I wanted to let us get back there towards, like we're doing right now, 69s. Can we get up there close to 70? I'm going to give it one more drive in the oil names and then look to see if WTI can make another downturn away from the 70s. NVIDIA conference going on. Yeah, that one starts at, I think, at 11 for the NVIDIA conference. So this is why we could have later in the day kind of trades, right? Well, the SPY breaking down now towards 396.57 again. Will it crack down through that level? Oxy's already going down there. I could come after it now, but I feel like I'm chasing it now. So I'm just going to leave that alone, look to see if we get into the bounce, and then finally the flush. Names doing well today. I got Monday.com. Look at that one. That one's doing well today. And of course, I'm grabbing these from my scanner on the right-hand side for Benzinga Pro. And this is why you got to set up your Benzinga Pro team to have different kind of the presets at the top. I have pre-market movers, intraday movers, calendar, charting action, straight news. I just want to just pull what's the latest news. So we'll see what happened here. But Monday showing up on that scanner for me. Appfolio showing up on there. That's a smaller name, or actually bigger name. I haven't traded this one ever. Appfolio. I don't know what you guys think about that one, but is trading up a little bit. Look at JPM trying to recover, and the SPY closed below that 397. Now I'll look to see if we get a 397 recovery candle, which is to close above 397. But right now, rejection of the support. And now we'll look to see if we find a new layer of support and then bounce back.
AEHR, interesting here on the relative volume scanner. We did have a catalyst here this morning. AEHR systems are trading higher after the company announced it received volume production order from WaferPak full wafer contractors from a major silicon carbide semiconductor customer. So this has actually been really, really strong. We've been trading sideways here right under this 37.5 level. And it looks like that is going to get tested here on the upside. We'll see at AEHR. This might continue. This has been a great swing. Great swing since July of last year.
All right, team. Looking for some pullback in LMT. If I could get some pullback below 474s, going into the 473 area, somewhere in there, I might actually take a swing on Lockheed Martin. That is impressive to me because I don't take too many over $100 stocks on swings, but it seems interesting to me. Better off getting coal instead of Boyle. Yeah. Better off maybe just actually getting coal, like the actual thing.
Think we lost Ryan?
Yeah, Ryan got rug pulled. Seems like nothing on his screens. I hope he's able to just come back for us. There he is. Ryan number 2. There you go. First Ryan disappeared.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man.
Not a worry. You just got the boot. It happens.
I was going to say, it looks like an internet connection trouble there.
Yep. SPY going lower, rejects the 396.90 area. And so now we're using that support as what? As resistance. So let's see if we crack through that on the upside. But right now, it just rejected that move to get right back to its 397. JPM now cutting down here. So it's still trying to hold on to this 130.50 area, but definitely coming lower. Definitely one of those days where I just want to take it easy. And there goes the SPY, now down to its 396.44s. SQQQ's taking off a little bit. Even SOX S moving up a little bit here. Not going to take these trades, but definitely seeing even the tech trade turned around a little bit here. AMD going lower. Apple hanging on. Just tried to get back to 157.50s. That one I could see maybe pulling back to 157 if this SPY move continues down. We'll see what happens. Google was staying strong, now rejecting up here towards 103.80s. How's Tesla? Tesla back to VWAP. Just hit it through it. Now trying to hold on to the 190 area. Gold miners are getting absolutely wrecked. Yeah, it's the take your money and run type of trade, right? I've been talking about this consistently. And for like those gold traders, if you didn't take your money, well, guess what? The market took it, right? We've got to be careful here. And sometimes I think right now, like if you get some gains, something wrong with taking some gains.
Hey, Chop. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Chop.
Yeah, it's the everyday chop, right?
Well, not every day is his birthday, though.
Ah, chop.
My scanner is completely dead at the moment. There's nothing.
I think someone gave the script to Yellen. Yeah, she probably wrote it herself. She got questioned so hard in that last. Did you see that one, Ryan? Where
No,
like
I
she was
can't.
just getting.
I can't watch her, man. I go straight to sleep.
Oh man, this one was good. I maybe should pull it up since we're not trading too much here. I might be able to pull it up here. Let me just pull it up on my Twitter. Give me a second, team. Yeah, I'm gonna put you guys up. Just I can set this up here.
SPY making new lows there. Keep an eye on the 396, as that is the pre-market low that I have.
Should we slack off and I should show off my jump man?
Oh man, that was crazy, Mitch. How high was that?
I could show the picture to actually prove it. It's pretty high up there. It's like I think like 48-inch vert.
Yeah,
Nice.
when I saw that, I was like, man.
I mean, I'm trying to get to that point. Got to be able to dunk in my 30s versus dunk in my 20s, right?
Crazy.
Gotta push,
Yeah, I dunk
man.
in 2K all the time. You know, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, man. Come on,
Understands.
man.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. That's
It's
not
nothing like-
impressive to me.
All right, just. Oh, that boy Mitch. That boy Mitch. I actually
I
after
missed it.
this, I tried to add something to this, and I like just barely missed it. If I wish I would have got that one too, because I added like another thing on the bottom. You see the right things, this little black thing on the bottom there.
Mhm.
I added that to it. That's another 4 inches. But we'll see. We
Yeah,
get
that's-
up there,
that's-
man.
That's wild,
Nice.
man. Good.
This is
That's a
like
sick
10.
jump.
This is about like just perspective. This is about like 10 and a quarter feet. If I'm jumping this high, I want to get to at least 10 and a half so I can really be grabbing the rim. But
Wait, that's 10 feet?
that's
Holy
like over
shit.
10 feet. Yeah. Like if I put my hand up, I would be grabbing the rim.
Oh, you're saying, okay. I thought
Like compared to height, right? Because I'm like 5'9".
I
You
thought you meant
add
the
the
jump. I was
vert.
like, hold on a second. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. I can
Your
touch
vert's
like
10. Got
the.
it. That's
yeah, I can
impressive,
touch-
dude.
I try to touch the square sometimes on the rim, and I can do my thing is the small hands. That limits me for sure. But I was talking about yelling, so let me not get distracted. Oh, here it is. I found it. All right, let me share this up here. All right, when I'm sharing this, team, of course, if there's any trade that's going on, you want to talk about it, Zunaid, by all means, take over.
Well,
right.
let me do
Yeah,
this
yeah,
because
go
I have
ahead.
to go get ready for the interview, right? So I've got two ranges that I'm keeping an eye on. So you've got the 397s on the top side, and you've also got the 395s on the bottom side. So that's the kind of two areas where I'm looking to go short or have a long side trade. But anything in between, I'm not going to go ahead and touch it at all. By the way, on Meta, you did get that 200 break, so you could wait and see if you get a retest and then go short if you'd like. But again, Meta is up on the day, so be mindful of that. But we've got an interview at 11 o'clock with Caleb and Brown. We're going to speak with Jake, who is the chief commercial officer of Caleb and Brown. That's coming up at 11. So I'm going to go get ready, shave a little bit, and I will be back to do the interview. See y'all in a bit. Ryan, see you tomorrow.
Take care, Zunaid.
All right, team, let's go ahead. Let's take a little peek into the overall market here before SPY at 396.50s. We cut through the 397 until we recover that. I think we're on downside. We'll see what happens here as we come back towards the 397. But here, I'm going to bring it in here, my screen here on what I was talking about when Yellen was getting questioned.
You
saw
see
this?
this? Yeah, I did.
You saw this? This one was a good one.
I saw the clip after it was after it happened. I didn't actually see this live.
Let's watch the grilling here. Here she got grilled here. Let's find out.
Will the deposits in every community bank in Oklahoma, regardless of their size, be fully insured now? Are they fully recovered? Every bank, every community bank in Oklahoma, regardless of the size of the deposit, will they get the same treatment that SVB?
I gotta say, this guy went about the questioning the right way.
Yeah,
He tried to be very precise.
Only gets that treatment if a majority of the FDIC board, a supermajority of the Fed board, and I, in consultation with the president, determine that the failure to protect uninsured depositors would create systemic risk and significant economic and financial consequences.
So what is
And
your
we made
plan?
that determination.
Right. So
to
what
these
is
two
your
banks.
plan to keep large depositors from moving their funds out of community banks into the big banks?
Yeah.
We
What's
have
the plan
seen
there?
the mergers of banks over the past decade. I'm concerned you're about to accelerate that by encouraging anyone who has a large deposit in a community bank to say, we're not going to make you whole, but if you go to one of our preferred banks, we will make you whole at that point.
It's a good comment there, because I'm watching the big
Um,
banks for the same
Look,
thing,
I mean,
Same.
right?
that's certainly
That they
not
don't just
something
buy
that
up these
we're
smaller banks.
encouraging.
That is happening right now.
That is happening because depositors are concerned about the bank failures that have happened and whether or not other banks could also
No, it's
fail.
happening
And
because you're
it's-
fully insured no matter what the amount is.
There's a
if you're in
backstop.
big bank. You're not fully insured if you're in a community bank.
Well, you're not fully insured. And
You
the big-
were at Signature, and
the
it just barely met that threshold. You were at Signature.
well, we felt that there was a serious risk of contagion that could have brought down and triggered runs on many banks. And that's something, given that our judgment is that the banking system overall is safe and sound, depositors should have confidence in the system, and we took these actions.
So there's a
to
special
discourage
assessment that's been done
contagion.
on community banks in my state and all banks across the country. Was there any discussion that that special assessment would only apply to the larger banks, or was it always assumed the special assessment would cover every bank, including rural banks in my state?
I think I'm not certain what the rules are around that. That's for the FDIC to determine.
It has been reported publicly that SVB had a large number of Chinese investors that are there, including some that were companies directly connected to the Chinese Communist
That's
Party.
interesting.
Will those individuals, companies, entities, and investors that are Chinese investors be made whole based on assessments in my banks in Oklahoma? So what I'm asking is, will my banks in Oklahoma pay a special assessment to be able to make Chinese investors whole from Silicon Valley Bank?
Uninsured investors will be made whole in that bank, and I suppose that could include foreign depositors, but I don't believe there's any legal basis to discriminate among uninsured.
I get it, but I'm
depositors.
just saying my community banks are going to pay this additional fee. It is always fascinating to me as well, the conversation that taxpayers are being made whole in this. So taxpayers are not going to have any kind of consequence on this. I'm sure my bankers are going to be very excited to know they no longer pay taxes, and their banks no longer pay taxes. Credit unions don't pay taxes, banks do. And so they're definitely taxpayers as well. And all banks make their revenue off of rates and fees and such to their account holders, which means every Oklahoman will pay higher fees in their community bank.
We're just going to have to move on.
Hey, yeah, let's move on, because that was a tough question. I think that's what happened there. So it's a tough situation now.
Yeah.
And I think that there you see it. You see it. They grilled her hard.
He was very well spoken. He was very targeted and pointed with his questions, and she struggled. She struggled mightily. And like I said, there's a reason that people are fearful right now. Yeah. And he made a lot of really great points. And I don't necessarily want to get into too much of it because it's just going to make me upset.
Yeah. It's how it is right now.
It seems that the Fed and the government want only a handful of the big banks to handle the economy's cash. This constant interest rate hike by the Fed might be the first start of this process. This is similar to the model they have in Europe. Yeah, I would say that they're definitely trying for that, and it's not good.
Yeah, and a lot of that is why, though, right? Because we could stress test them, right? There was this lot of lobbying for not stress testing smaller banks, right? And that's what happened in the situation here with the first bank that left us, right? And I think that in this case, SIVB, that was that one that went. And I think that we need to always regulate banks. I think there needs to be stress tests on every bank. There needs to be regulation here that monitors bank action. It cannot be that they just are able to just destroy their own bank by mismanagement. And I think that that is necessarily what we need to be keeping an eye on. But hey, we'll see what happens. SPY just now leaking now, team. It doesn't want to, it hasn't shown that ability to come back to 397 yet. But I am also looking for the banks to see if maybe some of them just take on some of these smaller banks, right? Do they just literally just buy them up, right? I mean, we saw one shotgun marriage this weekend, right? UBS and Credit Suisse. Will we see JPM just take FRC? Who knows? I think we see more consolidation of these smaller banks going to bigger banks. And I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. I think that that's what's another thing that a lot of people are trying to fight back on, that it's just going to be this kind of monopoly with these bigger banks. But the truth is, it already is there. Right? Like these bigger banks run it.
I think that's why you're seeing some renewed interest in Bitcoin. Is everything that's going on here.
SPY making new lows now. New lows, 396 showing up here. Prior low was 396.05. We'll look to see if that can continue, but definitely need to recover 397 if we're coming back on the day. Doesn't look bueno right now. It's gotten to the point where like I could maybe trade some stocks short right here, but what do I know, right? I mean, it's tough.
A lot of those tech gains early gone now. Yeah, Tesla, man. The only one that's really kind of holding it.
Yeah, Tesla's holding VWAP, but Apple, like now down to 157, 12s. Microsoft still going lower. Google was in the green, has come back. It still hasn't touched VWAP, so that maybe that one's hanging in a little bit stronger than others. But definitely look at that turn in JPM, now back towards the lows there. How's Bank of America that was getting that uplift coming right back down to VWAP, right? We'll see if these banks can turn it around. FRC is that's just going up and down. It did have a nice like kind of recovery there at 16, but I don't know if I could trust that type of move. I know I'm staying away from it.
Meta, despite the upgrade here, really sold off. AMD all the way back in from its lows. So Jay here saying Apple and Microsoft were the clues, brought AMD red. I would agree with that.
I mean, I don't think they brought them red, right? I would say it would be more the Qs turnaround, but I hear you.
Yeah, and Apple's the biggest weighted stock in the Qs.
Yeah, but then it would be, I mean, it's whatever. It's how you want to think about it, right? The relationships in tech went red.
Yeah,
right? That's what I would say.
The overall move in tech, regardless of what caused it, the overall move in tech.
Move in tech.
I'm, you know, like I said at the beginning here, I'm skeptical of this rally. I said it was one of the first things I said this morning. I'm skeptical that we continue here. I see us giving it back now.
I'm not, man. I'm not. I think this is just wash out to the big boys, man. The big boys make the money and the little boys get screwed. I think this is just kind of, when we get these pullbacks, this is where the big boys fill in. Little boys can't handle all this action. I don't know, man. I don't trust the bank situation one bit. Very fishy. And you got to stay safe. I agree, Richard. That's why I don't have swing trades on right now. Just because I'm trying to stay safe. Sideline versus put the risk up there, right? Fishy, fishy, fishy. Fewer banks, easier to control the minions. Agree, Jay. Right? I mean, I don't think we're going to get more banks out of this situation. We're going to get less banks. I think that's kind of more of an obvious one.
Yeah, I think so too.
Now Q's trying to come back, SPY trying to come back. We could have a choppy day, team. It's just a tough trade. On, VWAP bounce. Actually doesn't look too bad, team. Actually doesn't look too bad. I like that pullback. So now we've had what? 1 attempted to cut through the VWAP, 2 attempted to cut through the VWAP. I sometimes take this one where it's 3 attempts to cut through the VWAP and then reversal pattern back to the upside. Reversal candles, right? Like a bullish engulfing candle after it comes down, and then you see like a big green candle towards 27.25s. I'll let it attempt to go to 26.90s here versus grabbing it right now, but it did go to the VWAP right on the dot at 26.92s right now. We'll look to see if the on can come back up towards the highs. 5-minute hit the right below the VWAP, 26.83. That looks good as it starts to recover. I'll look for pullbacks on that one, but it looked interesting there. Can't blame me for bringing it up. Mitch, F has been bullish as of now. Tesla. I talk about this all the time, right? Tesla's stronger. I look for Ford to be stronger. If Tesla's weak, I look for Ford to be weak. GM, stronger, right? When Tesla makes that move, I think one of the hedges that we can do is like a little pairs trading action with Ford, GM, especially when Tesla's going higher. The relationship there is so important. But whenever I've seen Tesla get that nice little up day, a lot of the times I see Ford follow. And for that being said, you could see like a stock like Lucid have a good day, right? The smaller ones even. SPY's just still just playing with people. It gets up there to 396.80s and then just pulls back. So just be careful. A lot of chop.
I was going to say the move today, I'm not surprised that we kind of regressed a little bit here because we're not really, I mean, market's what? Dow's up 230. S&P's up 30. It's up just under 1%. I mean, we're for the most part flat. I really think that what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be waiting for the Fed. This is what we said on Monday. Seems to be what's happening here today. A couple of outsized moves here, like ON today. But not a whole lot going on here. SOXS, by the way, definitely, that was the one thing that I missed here today. I said early on I was going to be watching for this, and I never really hit it. I never really got the entry that I was looking for. I was hoping that this sideways trading was going to lead to a move up. It didn't. We actually sold off on that leg up we took in the SPY, but bounced pretty ferociously from there. And then I got the move that I was looking for. So had I have been ready, probably would have been able to hit this, but missed this one here today. I'm not going to get too angry at that. New highs here on SOXS. New highs here. I'm going to keep watching this trade, especially if we come in and we sit down and everything's green, everything feels great in the morning. We'll watch some of these inverse ETFs and see if we can end up trading these. This would have been it here for today.
No, I am not.
Nice job, Walter. Nice job, Walter. I'm glad you hit that.
Wisdom asking if I'm an X. No, I didn't take X today. I felt like it gapped up a little bit too much for me. Was looking for the 25.50. And that's where my alert went off. But we'll see. It's pulling back towards that level. I just don't like the way the market's looking today. It's just kind of just draggy. Looking to see if we ever get the pickup, but right now it's kind of dragging and it's not really breaking down, but it just kind of just pulling back, right? That's what I would consider this. If we cut through Monday's closing price of 393.66, that's what I would be considering kind of like, yeah, we're going red, right? We're going really red through yesterday's close. That's something that I'll keep watch on all day. I think we could get a ramp up. Maybe even it's after lunch, right? We've seen afternoon ramps, so we'll find out. On trying to pull back into that space where I could take the trade into like the 26.80s or 26.90 spot. I still haven't seen it cut through the VWAP, so I'm just looking at it. I don't mind taking that trade as long as I can get it in the way that I'm setting up the pattern, right? And so I said come into that area, right? So I'm going to scoot this to the right. But this is what I'm looking for, right? A little bit of a cut through towards the 26.90s, 26.80s, and then a nice big green candle to show up, which would take us through this kind of 27, 23 high towards 27.25. We'll see if I get that.
Nice move here on FRC through 17 and new highs here. Just took out a bid on FRC. So I was
FRC.
watching
I
it
got
on
you.
one of
No
my
worries.
other
I can put
windows
it
here.
up. It is
So,
pushing higher though.
yeah, FRC still doing well here. See what happens when
And
it gets to that
JPM trying to
19 handle.
recover. SPY, we'll see if it comes back through 397. That's what you got to be looking for, that upside. We got a little bit of a tick there on. It went to 2692. So not too bad there. It didn't really wick through the VWAP there. So I'm just kind of waiting on the pullback there to see what happens on. But I'm wondering, isn't the bank, Chris, actually very good? Oh, the bank is crisis actually very good for inflation problem? Not necessarily. I mean, I know it could be, but I don't think it's going to help inflation. I think it's going to hurt inflation in the long run.
I don't think confidence or lack thereof in the banking system is a good thing in any capacity.
Well, put the money underneath the mattress.
That's what I don't want to do. I want my money to be safe and still able to work for me. FRC continuing higher here. New highs yet again. 1740 on FRC.
SPY trying to recover the spot, the 397s here. On. Doesn't look like I'll get my entry there. Now starting to go to 2731s. Didn't look too bad though. So shout out to you guys that mentioned that one and stayed on it. And FRC going a little bit higher now to 1760s. And let's see if JPM gets the bid and actually starts pushing again. And there it goes, team. There it goes. So we could have an afternoon rally. We'll see what happens. SPY trying now to recover a little bit here, but look at that move in JPM. That's pretty strong there. FAS, can I grab it now? Already ripped there from 56.75 to 57.15s. So can't jump on that train. Bank of America can maybe scalp here through 29, but you guys know I'm not a scalper. So I'm not going to leave it. I'm not going to go for it, but it does look like the SPY is trying to recover a little bit here, and banks jumped there. So we'll see if this can continue higher. And the overall bank situation, I know that it's bad, but the price actions aren't telling me to run right now. If anything, it's showing me that they're getting a little bit stronger and trying to hold on. But I think a lot of that is there isn't any new news, right? At least for right now. That's why we Bitcoin, says Bean. Bitcoin. Put it in your wallet. Digital wallet. All right, we'll see what else is going on. We're definitely getting that recovery now. Looks like the SPY coming back here towards 397. Not going to take some trades into the afternoon right now. The only thing I could take is maybe like some tech names right here. But I don't want to take anything right now, at least on this day. It could still push higher. We could even push towards 400. Still seems like the uncertainty out there is just too high to get like one direction move right now. And of course, with an FOMC meeting tomorrow, that's clearly present, right? I mean, we'll see what happens. Now JPM is still pushing on these last candles. But of course, that's kind of on the 1 minute outlook. 5 minute did have a nice little bar though, to the nice little push here. We'll see if this can recover 397. There is one, right? Tesla. That looked off the VWAP. That held, went right back to the highs. So Google, did that get to VWAP? Yeah, and it went right back up. So at least that one's hanging on here. We'll see if Apple can kind of push off this 157, not really break it. We'll find out. All right, it's about 10:49. We still got about 10 minutes left till we get you guys over to the next interview that's going to be coming up. Zunaid will be doing that interview, so stick around, team.
Nice.
You don't got to go anywhere. Catching up with the chat. What's going on out there? All right, let's look around. Let's look in the Twitter streets.
AI having a nice little move here today. We see Soundhound, Big Bear AI, and Ticker AI up 3.5%. I think that's kind of just going along with tech. That's actually stronger than some of the big blue chip tech names.
All right, catching what's saying in the SPY there. China's Chi says, I am ready to collaborate with Putin on ties. That is not good news there. That could turn the market around, team. That came in at 1046. That is interesting. That is an interesting headline.
Which one,
there.
Mitch? I'm sorry.
This one, I'll put it up on the screen. This
Awesome.
came from Reuters here. But just to share it with our team, right? And I'm reading it here, but this is exactly what it says. Boom. It says, I'm ready to collaborate on Putin on ties.
Collaborate with Putin.
Yeah, with Putin. Not what you want to be hearing. Not at all. What can that mean, right? Does that mean weapons? Does that mean anything more? Dangerous headline there. That would spook me, but I'm already spooked. That's why I have no positions on. Man, a little part of me feels like going for a little swing here, little
Swing short.
like your Success trade right now.
Yeah, just use
like,
the SQQQ instead.
Yeah, because I mean it's the same thing pretty much. And when you look at the trades, the same thing pretty much. Sideways consolidation at the top of the range, break up on Success, SQQQ, sideways consolidation at the top of the range, right? And then now break up. You see very similar patterns. And so there you see the SPY downturn. Ooh, FAZ. Do I go for it? Oh, I couldn't go after it right now. All right, I'll do a little quick trading here, action. See if I can get it. Boom. Just grabbed a little bit there as the SPY just goes down fast there. Took a little bit of FAZ, gonna hold it off the 2245s. Tight risk here. Look to see if it starts climbing up here and starts pushing as the market just heads down there really quickly. And I think a lot of that was that headline. I don't know if there's other headlines out there. I'm gonna start looking, team, but that headline, not a good one. Let me look around to see what else is being talked about. And I think they're supposed to be actually talking in 8 minutes. So, interesting, right? There's so much here.
All right, Mitch, I'm going to get rolling here and get on with my day. We're going to be back tomorrow. Tomorrow should be a bigger day. We'll see what happens prior to that Fed meeting, but we're expecting some fireworks here tomorrow. So hope you all join Zunaid. Good luck on the interview. Take care, and we will see you tomorrow.
Yeah, guys, we're going to be getting to that interview in about 7 minutes here, but I'm trying, team. I'm trying. All right. This is one of those days where it's like, oof. We'll see what happens here, team. Will the SPY just start collapsing here? Did do a hard candle right back to the support, at least the intraday support off the kind of like 5 minute around the 396 level. Let's see if we crack through that on a 5 minute and hold below that. That's a rejection of prior support, now becoming resistance at 397, and we could be going lower here. Russia Bank says establish standards of mandatory reserve requirement for different foreign currencies. Nothing there that I think is important. Of course, Yellen said that the banking system is sound and it necessary to ensure that the Federal Reserve is capable of providing the liquidity that banks require. Boom, boom. All right, there's a little bit of a move in FAZ. Now starting to get into the green there for me in FAZ as the SPY comes to the 396. Pullbacks now I can add towards 2250. Going to look for it to kind of get that push. Banks start getting hit. We'll see what happens here. Does FRC go to a down halt? Be careful out there, team. I'm not saying that it is, but it could very much do that. We could see some down action here. I'm not trying to create FUD. I'm just looking at my trading action. We'll find out what happens. Look at the SPY now trying to crack 396. Will it crack 396? We went to a 396.07 on the last 5-minute candle. Going to look to see if this next 5-minute candle closes below that. All right, about 4 minutes left here, team. We'll be transitioning in just a couple of seconds here. You guys smash up the like. Stick around. A lot more for you right here on Benzinga. All right, a lot going to be happening also around 11 a.m. Like I talked about that press conference. We'll find out if that knocks the market down, but just be careful out there, team. A lot of choppy chop trading out there, and we definitely don't want to just be giving up trades, giving up money. Remember, every trade is like an opportunity, and you only get a certain amount of opportunity a day. And that's why I talked about it early on, that I wanted to kind of save my powder for the day. This would be my third trade, right? If I strike out on this one, I'm out for the day. That's why I try to save a little bit of powder for the rest of the day to see if maybe I can get a trade later on in the day. We'll find out what happens here. Catching up with the chat. What's going on out there, team? Big news. Just saved money on my car insurance. Wisdom, you trying to get sponsored? I'm very light in this morning. I agree. Talib saying you're doing great. Appreciate the mention, Talib. Dude, the market was whipsawing even before. Yeah, it just added to it, right? Buzz Lightyear. Tesla up big. We're going to be over 200 soon, says Chop. Hey, get that birthday, boy. We'll see if we get through the 396 here on the SPY. Looking like it wants to go lower. FAZ starting to really get that nice lift here. We got in this one 2257. As I go through 2275, I'm going to take some off and then leave the remainder to get that nice little push back here towards like 23s. Then from there, I think we could even push a little bit higher here. Remember how much this has declined already going into this. And now we kind of have like this triple bottom around 2238s. First stop around that 2275 level, and then we can start making a move. Looking to see if the SPY can like crack through 396 though. All right, it's 10:58. I'm going to start bringing down my charts in just a second. We'll be getting into an interview. You guys stick around for my man Zunaid. And by the way, are there any Benzinga merch, hoodies, or so? Well, it's as simple as doing this, right? You hit your little thing on the top, new tab, and you go to swag.benzinga.com. That's where you can get all our swag. We do have a couple sweaters on there. You guys see me wearing them sometimes, so definitely check it out, team. Swag.benzinga.com. Let me throw that up in the chat there so you can click it. All right, SPY cracked 396 and then came right back. So just be careful out there. It looks like we're playing around, doing what? Some chop action. Wouldn't you know it, team? We'll find out what happens in the market today. Be careful out there, like always. And catch me later today on, of course, Start Swing Trading. Start Swing Trading is our swing trading show from 3 to 4 p.m. I'm going to be having Anne-Marie Ban on that show. Don't miss it today, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. I'll see you guys a little later, traders. Stay safe out there. I'm going to get out of here and let my man Zunaid take control. We'll see you next time, team.
What is going on, y'all? We'll go ahead and get things started here in a moment. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed Mitch's closings there. As you can see, we're going to go ahead and have a nice little interview. You know, we love to have executives come on, whether they're from publicly traded companies or not. There's so many questions that y'all always have, whether it relates to blockchain, cryptocurrency, and all the other good stuff. So we're going to have an interview coming up here in a moment. Let me go ahead and pull up my notes. Where did my notes go? There we go. As you can see on top of your screen, we're going to go ahead and interview Jake Boyle, who is from Caleb and Brown. So without any further ado, let's play the intro for Jake. Hey, Jake, how's it going?
Very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Jake, you're the Chief Commercial Officer of Caleb and Brown, so I appreciate you dedicating some time to talk to us today. We're going to dive into the nitty-gritty of what it is that's going on with your company at the moment and future plans. But before we get into all that, if you could please explain it to me like I'm five, what is it that your company does?
Great question. We're a cryptocurrency brokerage. We started in 2016, which isn't that long ago, but for crypto, it's like almost like a few decades in the traditional world. And what we do is we enable clients to buy, sell, and swap cryptocurrencies, much like an exchange. The key difference with our service is that we have a 24/7 brokerage. So every client, no matter how big or small, is going to have the support of a real person who works in the industry, who helps them navigate the market, whether it's wallet support all the way through to hitting complicated trades in altcoins, dollar cost averaging strategies on Bitcoin, you name it. The idea is that you experience this nascent, complicated asset class with the benefits of having real people who are experts in the space to support you and make sure that your trades and everything along the way is handled perfectly.
Well, now look, 24/7 support is definitely great. Now, I trade stocks, I trade futures and options. Sometimes I wake up at 2 a.m. and I'm like, hey, I want to trade something. And the only thing available is cryptocurrencies, right? So that's kind of where you come in. You've got a little bit of competitiveness going on in this space, though. I think somewhere on your site, it says we help better understand and navigate the complexities and opportunities of digital assets. What are these complicated things and how do you help your clients navigate them?
Absolutely. So as we know, cryptocurrency, like you've mentioned, it trades 24/7 and it experiences issues which are very unique to this industry. Now, don't get me wrong, stocks, equities, bonds, everything else in the world is just as risky and just as wild in recent times, as we all know. But the thing with cryptocurrency is you have to navigate a whole bunch of unique complexities, whether it's scam attempts, fraud, rug pulls. There's this whole world of additional uncertainty that goes beyond what trading Tesla stock or something like that might allow you. So what's really critical for us is we'll have clients who sign up and they'll say, look, Jake, I want to get exposure to cryptocurrency, but I've heard about these wallets being scammed. I've heard about these fake coins, rug pulls, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The list goes on forever. And our job is basically to think, look, a brokerage solution provides accountability, transparency, and real support from qualified individuals. That works in the world of traditional finance and real estate and things like that. Why is there not a brokerage that helps clients in one of the more tricky industries and tricky asset classes of cryptocurrency? So we really just want to put those two together. So that way, when those complexities arise, whether it's, hey, Jake, what's going on? Why is USDC not trading at $1 anymore?
Yeah.
Or what's happening with these bank collapses? Is FTX safe for me to leave my coins there? What does a ledger versus a Trezor product do? They're the kind of questions that our job is to basically just slow everything down, take it easy, and make sure the client is informed, educated, and best positioned to take advantage of this market's volatility.
Now, something that obviously, we've got the banking stuff going on, right? So I'm going to ask you that in a minute, but everyone just wants to make sure their money is safe. Obviously, you would assume that having it in a bank is, going to be the safest way. We've seen that not be the case recently. How has the crisis of the bank and the Silvergate, all that stuff impacted your business, if at all?
Great question. So this whole banking crisis and this newfound fear of security where people are questioning things that they never used to have to question. That experience for our customers, new and old, has been good for us in the sense where it validates a lot of our core points of value. Now, our job is not to have millions of customers worldwide. We don't leverage trade. We don't offer lending products or anything like that at all. We're a very simple business. So a lot of clients are finding that being able to speak to us, being able to ask the tricky questions directly, is a really, it's an experience for the client, which ultimately gives them a lot more trust and confidence. So for example, we've had tons of clients who have reached out asking questions about the banks that we use, asking questions about the stable coins that they hold. And we can consequentially go back to that client, write up a report on all their questions and go through it all line by line. So we've found that this experience, albeit very tumultuous and concerning, it has really strengthened the goals and the real fundamental points of value that we wanted to deliver as a point of difference for the industry.
Yeah, no, it's definitely concerning, especially with the FTX. And now you've got regional banks. It's never fun. But let's dive into your company a little bit more. I believe in the past few weeks, you've added Blur, you've added CFX, and also the Gains Network, GNS, coins to your clients. You're going to be able to trade and access. How does this benefit y'all in making money? And then we'll talk about that in a minute as well.
Absolutely. So we're constantly listing coins, and from time to time, we may even have to delist coins. The fundamental crux of that, it really comes down to the demand of clients. So clients will often reach out to their broker and say, hey, I'm hearing about the Arbitrum ecosystem. These are some coins I'm interested in. Can Caleb and Brown look at listing these? And we'll always endeavor to tailor things to the needs of our clients. So we had a lot of clients reaching out about tokens, such as Gains, as you mentioned. And consequently, they wanted to be able to buy it safely using US dollars, British pounds, euro directly. They don't want to touch bridges. They don't want to touch a million different exchanges and have their information thrown everywhere. Yeah. So we can facilitate that for them. So I would say the majority of the time we list these coins on the basis of what the market and what our customers are actually asking for, because we work for them at the end of the day. How we make our money on that, we're a super, super simple old school business model. We make money on a transaction fee, and that is the only source of revenue we have. So if a client calls us 5 times a day and they're sending emails, they need wallet support over here, they're concerned about FTX, they're concerned about the banks, there's no consulting charges. You can call a 1-800 number and there's no toll fees either. It really is only if you say, hey, Jake, I want to liquidate these coins, or I want to start dollar cost averaging into these coins, whatever that strategy is, we'll have a really clear invoiced transaction fee on that. And we'll make it clear, hey, this is going to cost you $30. This is going to cost you $100. Whatever the case may be, you're the first person to hear it.
Now, let's talk about your competitors, because I'm sure they also have some coins, maybe the same ones that you offer, maybe a little different. But what is it that you feel about Caleb and Brown gives y'all the advantage to be better able to serve your clients than your competitors out there right now?
I'd confidently say that we're the #1 people-first crypto business, to put it in like a real simple way, avoiding all the jargon language. What I mean by that is there are businesses out there there are fantastic centralized exchanges, great decentralized exchanges. There's a whole variety of complex businesses that offer great solutions in the cryptocurrency space. We're not trying to do it all. Our job is just to say, if you want a human experience that safeguards your cryptocurrency investment journey, that is where we come in. If you're looking to leverage trade, if you're looking to trade options, that's not where we come in. We make that really, really clear. So I think that as the industry evolves and as our business evolves, we always try and pull ourselves back to the root cause of being the #1 people-first crypto business. And that enables a unique point of difference. And I'm sure that we have some competitors out there, maybe not exact one-to-one competitors, but certainly people who also deal directly with clients as people. And to date, we've just found that we've kind of really solidified our position in the market as a leading business that offers that type of product suite.
Well, look, sometimes I like to be a degenerate and get rich overnight. I understand that may not be the case for me here. Let's talk about the future. We've talked about the past and what's going on today. Are you able to give us any sneak peek of what's to come ahead? Not exactly what coins, because I understand that might not be the right way to do it, but just any features or anything you'd like to enlighten us about the future at Caleb and Brown.
I think that, first of all, starting with the market, what we've seen recently with Bitcoin getting over $28,000 US, highest price for a very long time for those who have been patient. What we're really seeing there is a reminder of what the foundational essence and values of Bitcoin as an asset class actually are. This is something that was born on the back of the global financial crisis just around over a decade ago. Now we're in very similar times. It looks like history in many respects is repeating itself, perhaps at a larger scale and far worse this time around. With that being said, we're seeing that Bitcoin is getting a lot of new interest on the basis of having that publicly verifiable on-chain. This is what the supply is. This is how it works. It's simple. If we extend beyond Bitcoin, we see this whole Ethereum ecosystem, particularly DeFi, which is becoming an increasing subject that clients are talking to us about, because the idea of lending money from a bank and having that central authority, the appeal of that is falling off a cliff at a rapid pace. The idea is at the end of the day, last year when we saw centralized lending platforms go bust, DeFi protocols still continue to work. If I had a loan against you on a peer-to-peer basis on Aave or a similar platform, we're business as usual, no strings attached. What we see is what we get, and it's all publicly verifiable. These are some of the narratives that we're starting to see really take hold, and that's been shown in price movement as well, with a lot more funds being deployed and a lot more price volatility giving favor towards what we could argue is the starting of a change in the market cycle. So on our end, we just want to make sure we can continue to support clients as these narratives and emerging trends evolve, safeguard the assets, but allow clients to really explore that compelling upside at the same time.
I mean, you mentioned that 28,000 USD on Bitcoin. Do you believe, your opinion, not your company's opinion, but just for yours, do you think the bull run is ahead, or do you think we see some more volatility? What's Jake's opinion?
So I don't take any short-term positions on cryptocurrency. I always want to zoom out and look at the broader picture and the broader economy. When I do that, I'm very optimistic on the future of Bitcoin for 2023 and the years ahead. I'm optimistic on the basis that we've had a very bumpy past 18 months. We've certainly been humbled from the all-time highs. The industry has had no shortage of bad actors. I'll point that out first and foremost. But what we're seeing as the dust settles in the wake of FTX is an industry where people are going back to those foundational points of value. And I'm quite confident that Bitcoin is very well set. Its hash rate is hitting all-time highs. It's the network is being secured. Institutional interest in Bitcoin is still there. People are still buying it. There's no shortage of that, I can assure you, being that we trade with these clients. So what I'm really optimistic for is seeing how the halving plays out, seeing if this whole 4-year cycle, which we often kind of hear about with Bitcoin, if that stays true for another round. If that is the case, I would be optimistic that all-time highs will pursue at some time in the future. Maybe not this year, but maybe the 2024 or 2025, I'd hope.
Well, I'm sure things will get frenzied with Jake. We've talked about so many things, your competitors, coins that you're listing, the future of Bitcoin as well. But the floor is kind of yours for anything else that you wanted to talk about with our viewers to close things up.
For sure. Well, I mean, the market right now is full of major headlines day by day. I think, just to kind of close off where I see the rest of the year unfolding, we as crypto investors need to get clarity on what's happening with the businesses of 2022 that did the industry wrong. FTX and the likes, there needs to be a degree of clarity there. That needs to feed into regulatory assurance that we actually know what the rules are. Consumers have got to be protected. Otherwise, this industry is not going to be exciting. We need to move forward all as a collective, support good businesses, support each other in this kind of journey. But also people need to be more wary about the risks associated with investing in this asset class. If we as a company can help in that conversation, more than welcome to. It doesn't cost a cent to talk to us. And if not, then I definitely wish everyone the best of luck for this exciting year.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That is Jake Boyle, Chief Commercial Officer of Caleb & Brown. Jake, thank you for joining us, and hopefully we'll talk to you more in the near future.
Thank you so much. Enjoy your day, guys.
Take care. Let me go ahead and take care of that. That was pretty cool. I mean, cryptocurrency has obviously been a hot topic since I can't even remember. I think it was in 2000. I think it might have been 2006 or something like that, where someone had told me to invest in it. And of course, I thought they were crazy, but now they are the ones that are crazy rich and not me. But obviously, make sure you guys do your due diligence. I like the website. I've checked it out. It looks pretty user-friendly as well. But that is Caleb & Brown, and that is the end of All Access.